Who the fuck are you? How's it going, guys? So this video is gonna be kind of different from the stuff I normally do on the channel with like all the skits and shit. And I'm mainly gonna be talking about certain like gaming news and stuff that's been happening recently. Most notably the Saints Row reboot that's been announced, which a lot of people seem to have a problem with. First off, I don't have that much of a history with Saints Row. I started off with Saints Row the 3rd, then moved on to Saints Row 4, which was just a complete clusterfuck of a video game. And I did play a little bit of Saints Row 2. I never really got that into it, but I can definitely see why it's a cult classic and why people still enjoy it to this day. So I just kind of wanted to share my opinion on all this, since I did see the trailer live during the Gamescom event and I was kind of confused as to what the hell was even going on with it. And usually I'm not one to pass judgment on a game that hasn't even been released and no one's gotten the chance to play yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and cast some judgment. People seem to be really upset by this reboot and how it doesn't look like anything from the Saints Row franchise at all, and how they completely moved away from what they knew and love about Saints Row and completely changed it up to something that is almost boring in a sense. And while I don't exactly have that much anger towards the reboot, I kind of want to talk about the overall response it's been getting from both players and developers and how they sort of been like, clashing recently. And I'll be honest, I did enjoy Saints Row 4 for what it was, even though it completely changed up what the fuck Saints Row was. But I can also understand the appeal for wanting it to go back to its original format essentially, which is what a lot of people seem to be hoping for with the announcement of the reboot. And then we actually got the trailer for it, which was wow. People saw from just the trailer alone that this wasn't the same franchise that they grew to like love and appreciate. And a couple of the devs have actually responded to said criticism, saying things like, "We wanted to reinvent the series, make it unique and different." Different? Yeah, you kind of accomplished that, because from the very start of the trailer, you would have no idea this was a Saints Row game. When I was watching this during the Gamescom event, I had no idea what it could have been. I didn't know it was Saints Row until the actual title popped up. So congrats, if that's what you wanted, you did a great job. But if you had told me that this was the trailer for the new Battle Pass in Fortnite, I don't think I would have argued with you. As far as uniqueness goes, I don't think this is it. I've seen people make a lot of comparisons from other games, from Sunset Overdrive to that new Bethesda game, and as I mentioned, Fortnite is a big influence, I think, on this. So when you're saying you're trying to be different and unique with this new title, I don't get that from this at all. And I assume a lot of other people don't either. What I think they were trying to do with this was sort of build a new audience, attract more younger people to the Saints Row name. And as I previously mentioned with Fortnite being one of the most popular games I think ever, they took a look at that and saw maybe we could do that. We could take our own little spin on that. And that's very evident from the trailer itself, which was entirely the incorrect direction you wanted to go with this. What they should have done was just appeal to the audience they already had. People were for a Saints Row reboot. They wanted to see it go back to its original roots. Saints Row 2 was the big name I kept on hearing. People wanted it to go back to that kind of format. And as I said, people have gone out and expressed their grief on Twitter, YouTube comments, all that stuff. And devs have actually responded to all this criticism, though in the completely wrong way. You already had people that cared about your franchise so deeply, and yeah, you could expand, you could gain a new audience, but you should keep that same sort of Saints Row-esque that you already had. You didn't have to completely change it up. Different doesn't mean to just make it completely unrecognizable. It's possible to reboot a franchise while still keeping the stuff that people loved about said franchise. People already considered Saints Row to be a GTA clone from the very beginning. But the series differentiated itself, so it wasn't labeled as another GTA clone. It became its own thing, its own franchise, its own recognizable game. But you seem to have just done a complete 180 with this very unique game that you made that's nothing like any other game that's ever come out. There are two big arguments I've seen come from this game, and that's first being the weird sort of humor tone of it, which is kind of meh. Saints Row has always had that sort of raunchy, satirical type of humor, but each character was different with their own sense of humor that they brought to the game. But with the reboot, it seems like everyone has that Tony Stark sort of wit and humor, which is fine. Everyone loves Tony Stark. The one of him, when your entire cast of characters is essentially millennial Tony Stark, that's when it becomes pretentious. Which leads into the other problem people have with the reboot, that being the characters. Saints Row has always had a unique vast of characters. You had Shaundi, Johnny Gat, Julius, Pierce, Ben King, Angel, Carlos, Kinsey. And every single one of these characters had their own unique personality. But with the reboot, most of these guys seem very one-dimensional. And if I'm being honest with their designs, it kind of looks like you just hit the random button on the Cyberpunk character creator. You had the fan base, you knew what they wanted, you knew what they were expecting. And they're expressing their opinions towards this franchise. They don't want to see it go in that direction. They're being very vocal about it. And yeah, you tell them to go fuck themselves. And who knows, maybe the game will end up being perfect and amazing, which it kind of has to be now. Otherwise, you sort of DMC'd yourself. And I also hear the argument of people saying like, oh, this is just SJW propaganda and they're giving into feminism and like whatever the hell. Like, I don't agree with that. I feel like that's just like, you know, content creators sort of rage baiting. And I do plan on buying the game eventually. Maybe if it does get good reviews, I'll pick it up like in a couple weeks after its release, or maybe after it's been bombarded with hatred. I'll pick it up when it's like $10. Either way, I want to see for myself like what the big changes were and if people's like complaints and hatred and anger were completely justified. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I got more skits and stuff coming out in the future. And who knows, maybe I'll do more of these kind of videos if you guys do enjoy it, because I do like just, you know, talking to you guys directly and mainly getting my opinion out there, expressing what I feel about like, you know, what's sort of been coming up in like gaming news recently. So yeah, I'll maybe try to keep on doing this. So if you enjoyed this, like, and you want to help support my small channel, like, leave a like, go ahead and subscribe. Like, that would really help me out because I do want to keep making videos like this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.